Now,
Taylor writes in, he says, Roddy, why do you keep that microphone in front of your face? I find it a little distracting, but enjoy the show otherwise.
how about that?
I moved it because my chiropractor said, Rod, your neck is getting screwed because you're leaning over this microphone all the time. Can you prop it up? My chiropractor is very happy.
Oh, yeah.
You guys aren't. I don't know what to do. Been in radio for 30 years. I never worried about what it looked like.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to the RP Show. How are you?
I'm great.
That's my Rick Reagan imitation.
That's not bad.
It's not bad. How about that?
How about that?
It is episode number 457 of Canada's daytime sports talk show. Welcome inside the bunker, everybody, on a very big day. Man, especially here in the sweatpants capital, eh?
Oh, yeah.
We got a lot of things to get to. We've got some very special guests on the program. We always do, but coming up today from TSN NHL insider Darren Dreger. Why did I put DuPont beside that? Because you're also on the show.
I can't help it if
the two Darrens.
on your mind.
Jackie Redmond from the NHL Network is going to be with us. And I'm starting to get a little annoyed here because I realize we had such a party here. Happy birthday, Clark. It's his 30th today.
How about that?
How about that? Lots of time left to screw up your life, Clark. You think 30's old. It's not. Anyways, we didn't get down to anything serious for the last half an hour.
Nothing.
And Brandon Crowe's here, the voice of the Brandon Wheat Kings. And you very much belong in that troika, Crowe, even though you don't think you do, with Jackie Redmond and Darren Dreger. But we were going to talk about Jackie Redmond. She's from the NHL Network. I need you to put on the screen, Clark, what they want us to promote, the NHL Network, right? That's usually what our morning meeting's about.
Yeah. All of these sponsored elements and things like that. And
Brandon Crowe brought in donuts, and everybody's brain fell on the floor. Oh, I know. It's good. It's good. I'm just saying we haven't talked about anything of substance, really.
Yeah.
Other than the exciting news that came up this morning here in the sweatpants capital and across the Canadian Football League. So we'll get to that in moments. But first, let's hit the quick six show topics. Please, Director Jordan. Thank you. I got to open with the NHL. And while he and I were broadcasting hockey last night in the Dub Hub, there was a lot of NHL games going on. A lot of games last night. So I didn't see those. I saw the highlights. I read the morning skate from the NHL media this morning. This is what I came up with. Where's Taylor Hall going? That's the first NHL leftover from last night. I Googled Taylor Hall trade deadline. Boom. First thing that came up was from the Sporting News. 4 destinations for Taylor Hall. New York Islanders, Boston Bruins, Toronto Maple Leafs, or Calgary Flames. Do you feel like that's throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks?
yes. Well, kind of. Like the Calgary Flames?
Yeah, like a month ago, maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, not now. I don't think
so.
And Taylor Hall doesn't sound like a Daryl Sutter guy. Just saying. But he might be.
You never know.
You never know. Like maybe that's the environment he needs to
Might
be in.
be exactly
right?
what he needs. So that's I haven't tweeted this yet. I put it on Instagram poll. I haven't tweeted it yet because, again, it's been la-di-da in here. Would you trade for Taylor Hall? We faced off on it yesterday. I don't know if the guys have put it up on Facebook yet. Oh, they have. The majority saying yes.
Wow.
59%. On Instagram, over 60% of respondents said no. You can vote on our Instagram story at The Rod Pedersen Show. But we're getting kind of bogged down on Taylor Hall talk. Kirby Dach scored his first of the year last night. Things just continue to come up roses for the Chicago Blackhawks, and they beat Dallas. When are we going to start talking about the Dallas Stars?
I know.
That's not a rhetorical question.
I know.
But I'm going to start talking about the fact, forget about talking about talking. They're struggling.
I know.
Were they a flash in the pan last year?
Not supposed to be, right?
No.
But that happens. You know, you kind of get everything together at once, and the expectations get blown out of proportion. I still think the Stars are a good team. But, yeah, it's underachieving would be an understatement for the Dallas Stars.
From the viewer board, great suggestion from Robert in Prince Albert, who I believe is a Stars fan. He says, send him to Dallas. Have Taylor and Tyler. Can you imagine? We no longer have to say Taylor or Tyler. They'd be playing on the same team.
Yeah.
Thomas Tank Abbott says, good morning. The only morning show that gets airtime here when renovating the rental. Thanks for having us on. I appreciate it. By the way, the Rangers scored 8 again, and it seems to me like they score in bunches. I went in this morning and looked what the goals for are in the National Hockey League. The Colorado Avalanche lead with 137. Rangers hovering around a playoff spot, I think as we sit here today, aren't in one, but they got 125 goals scored. So they know how to score. If they could ever learn to play defense, it'd be 1994 all over again. Also, Lou Lamoriello is now tied Glenn Slats Sather for number 2 all-time for GM wins. And my fifth leftover has to do with Connor Bedard, which I got that here in my quick six. I'm sweating like crazy. That's why my earpiece keeps falling out.
We think it's hot in here, and it's supposed to be the hottest day.
Is that right?
Of the year, 20 degrees this afternoon.
How about that? I should have brought the Jeep up here.
I thought you would.
I know. I was thinking about it. Got to get a haircut first. Topic 2 in the Quick Six show topics here in the warm-up for the Four Seasons Sports Palace. New downtown ballpark proposed for Regina. And I see a guy, this came out at 8 a.m. Mountain. There it is. Isn't that a thing of beauty? We'll put it up on the screen. I know our listeners can't see it, but that is Sask Drive, just in the top left corner, right, of the screen.
Yeah.
It's a 3,500-seat ballpark. It's got everybody popping champagne corks. I think the proposed, this is a stadium artist rendition, is SaskTel Rail Yards. If they called it the Rail Yards, because that's where it would go, where it is, that'd be a pretty cool name.
I was just going to say, that's a really cool name.
Yeah.
The Rail Yards.
So for those that aren't familiar with the Sweatpants capital, there's a lot of bars and restaurants along there. There's a new hotel that just went up, and everybody's excited about this. And it's got people, this guy wrote in on Instagram to me, and he goes, misleading headline. Owners have proposed a new stadium, and this hasn't gone through yet. And I'm like, isn't this how it works? Ram it through! And for those that don't know, the Regina Red Sox are spearheading this. They've been spearheading it for years. They play in the Western Canadian Baseball League, Minor League Ball League, Collegiate League, really. And they've been looking for a sugar daddy for a long time. I've lined them up with a few rich guys that the rich guys passed. They've found their rich guy. And it's the same guy that's building a soccer stadium in Saskatoon for a CPL team, a Canadian Premier League. And Darren, that Saskatoon's more your town than mine. I mean, I love it, but you're the Saskatoon guy. Can you just spend 90 seconds on Living Sky Sports? They're the money guys that are going to build this, so you don't got to worry about your taxes going up. That's my take.
Al Simpson's the guy. He's a great guy. And actually, I spoke to him last week.
The soccer thing.
The soccer thing. And, they're going to put it in Prairieland Park. And unfortunately, it means no more racetrack. But that was decided already, that the racetrack was going to be done, which I love. But that's a perfect spot. So right where that racetrack is in Saskatoon at Prairieland Park, that goes out. Soccer field goes in. They add some stands, but they've already got the grandstands and a lot of the infrastructure there, and they're going to revamp. They'll be kind of that cornerstone tenant of Prairieland Park, and that'll be wonderful. This and the rail yards will be really great for Regina, and all of a sudden, the rectangle's rocking.
All of a sudden, Bob's your uncle.
Yeah.
So that's very exciting today. Regina Pats announcing a couple weeks ago that they intend to build a new facility. The owner, Sean Semple, and now a baseball park. And so here's the thing. There is money here. You just wouldn't know it because people spend their money on sweatpants. Otherwise, we got money for stadiums, and that's going to happen. Moving on to point 3. I love what's going on with Connor Bedard, hockey-wise, all across Western Canada. There's people from other provinces than here saying, love when you talk about him on the show, love the highlights that you post to your social media. Last night, the Regina Pats beat the Swift Current Broncos 6-1 in the Brandt Center, in the Dub Hub, and Connor Bedard had 2 goals, 2 assists. On my Cat Country FM commentary this morning, you could conceivably say that Connor Bedard has scored in every single Pats game because in the one game that he was shut out in 65 minutes, he scored in the shootout. So it's not even conceivable to say he has scored in every game. There were people writing last night on Twitter, he's got 26 points in 14 games and he's 15 years old. And people are asking, hey, is he NHL ready now? No! He's a boy! And that's what makes this so remarkable, what he's doing, and why so many people are just loving the kid, because he's still a boy. They got him listed at 5'9", 179. he doesn't look that big on the ice.
I was going to say soaking wet. But it's funny, the 15-year-olds, like the last 15-year-old I remember rolling through the Western League that had that type of an impact was Braden Point in Moose Jaw. And he came up to the Warriors in the playoffs as a 15-year-old, and I believe he had 2 overtime game winners in the playoffs that year for Moose Jaw and was an impact player at 15. Connor Bedard's doing that and then some, leading the league in scoring. So it's tremendous to watch and project, and we kind of have that little back and forth of, does he play in the World Juniors, and how fast does he get a spot and how much does he contribute? But, yeah, the NHL talk's too premature because, he's a boy against men. That would be different. But the skills will no doubt translate as he gets older.
Yeah. The WHL is not a man's league. He's a boy against older boys right now, and what he's doing is sensational. But the NHL's a man's league. No, he can't play in the NHL right now. But he and I had quite a debate last night on the TV broadcast. I think he should have played in the World Juniors this year. And I'm sorry. That's what we should have faced off on yesterday, maybe. He's leading the WHL in scoring at 15. Give me a break. But sad news today coming out of the Regina Pats just an hour ago. Regina Pats Hockey Club issued the following statement Wednesday morning regarding Connor Bedard's grandfather, Garth Bedard, who passed away Tuesday in a motor vehicle accident near Sicamous, BC. The Regina Pats Hockey Club extends our deepest condolences to Connor and the entire Bedard family after the passing of Garth. We know how close Connor was with his grandfather, was one of Connor's biggest fans. Garth was incredibly proud of Connor and took great joy in his grandson's passion for hockey, and even more so in the person he's become. Connor will remain with the Pats for his final game this season on Friday before returning home to North Vancouver, BC on Saturday to be with his family. We will continue to stand with Connor and his family during this difficult time as they grieve the loss of someone who meant so much. And we were scheduled to have an interview with Connor this afternoon, and that's obviously not going to happen. It's not important. He's going home to be with his family. Tragic. I don't need to tell you the ramifications. Think about how proud Garth was of what Connor's doing.
Yeah.
And this happened. So we're with the Bedard family. Everybody is in hockey. My fourth topic of the Quick Six Show topics here was a tidbit that I got last night during the hockey game. I told Darren this. I didn't really look at the text that closely because I'm trying to be calling a hockey game. This morning I looked at it again and I'm like, whoa! So the tweet that I put out about an hour ago was regarding this. Forget about MLSE. Forget about The Rock. A source telling me that CFL leaders are talking about dropping 5 Canadians per team from the rosters and reducing the starters ratio down to 3 starters per team. Well, to say that's been ground shaking is an understatement. And let me just say the way that I worded it is exactly that. They're talking about it. To use a Randy Ambrosi term, they're talking about talking. Is this just within the league office? Is this the general managers that are having their Zoom meetings and league meetings this week? I don't really know who it is. I was told CFL leaders. So you take that for what it is, but it's sounded alarm bells, obviously, for Canadian football. Now, there's a lot of people that understand the CFL, some of which are Americans, saying this needed to happen. Where are you on this latest development?
It's not good. It's not good. I look at it like, look at talking about talking. So I never want to hammer on an idea just because it's an idea, right? I'm in favor of all doors open, optimistic. Let's put it all on the table. So if you think that 3 starters and 5 Canadians on the roster is something that will help the CFL, let's hear it.
5 Canadians less.
Yes, 5 Canadians less and 3 starters. I think let's hear it. And let's find out why is this going to help the CFL. But we had Davis Sanchez on here this week talking about the ratio and how important that is to the Canadian Football League. He wouldn't have played in the NFL or the CFL if it wasn't for the ratio. And there's a lot of Canadian players like that wouldn't have gotten the opportunity, right? And the opportunity to be on the field, to be looked at the same, and then become stars. So I think, what makes our game Canadian needs to be protected. And it's disappointing if they're seriously looking at eliminating these Canadian spots.
Well, you know how people are going to run off.
I know.
Like crazy with this, just like we all did with the XFL, CFL news. But this is the report from a source who has said they're talking about dropping the starters ratio to 3 and eliminating 5 Canadian positions per team. So with that concept of Rob Vanstones and Jim Hobsons of going back to 85% Canadian, no. They're going the other way. Talking about it. So there's that. 0.5, Blue Jays falling 7-4 at the Texas Rangers last night. Unfortunately, we missed the game, but we'll talk a little Blue Jays ball a little later on because we were calling hockey. And my last point here has to do with soccer. I got to say this. We're getting a professional team in Saskatoon. As you know, they're building a new stadium for it. It's exciting. I'm getting soccer people left and right that are like tugging on my jacket going, Rod, we want you to talk soccer on the show. Did you see yesterday Steve Johnson put a poll question up, one of our viewers, P1s. What's the favorite sport you like that Rod talks about on the show? Football, hockey, baseball, or other? Football won by a nose over hockey. Somebody wrote in and said, more soccer would be nice. Here's the thing about soccer people. They're like curling people. They're very polite. They're not whiny.
Right.
It's like, we're here. If you'd like to talk about us, we're available. But hey,
You do you.
you do you.
But I'm here.
They're very nice about it. So, I mean, last year I sampled auto racing and I got into it and I love it. And the race season begins May 29th. There's something about racing that I really love. So maybe I need to go to a CPL game. Maybe I need to go to SAS Summer Soccer Series. I need to be shown a good time.
Yeah.
Let me ref or something. Let me ref or play goal or something. And maybe I'll get into it. But I'm not saying I won't get into it. Because you people have been very nice in the soccer community. They've sent us clothing.
Gifts. Yes.
So it's not that I don't like it, but I watch ESPN every single morning, and I've stopped getting down on my knees and saying, please, baby hockey Jesus, can you please have the ESPN guys talk hockey this morning? They never do. Ever. It's NFL every damn day, but I still watch. So, because it entertains me. I can get the hockey talk other places. Like, for instance, Jackie Redmond, who's going to be joining us next from the NHL Network. But soccer, I'm hearing you, as are you.
Yeah.
I just know nothing about it. So if we can fix that, I guess that's on me. We'll be right back. This has been the warm-up for the Four Seasons Sports Palace. We'll be right back. It's the RP Show on Game Plus Television across all 10 provinces and 31 states, including New York. Live daily on YouTube and Facebook, and 24-hour sports talk for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpedersen.com. Listen live.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.